I thought I had found the woman I was going to spend my life with. Her name was Julia, and from the moment I met her, I believed she was different. Beautiful, smart, ambitious. She had a way of making me feel like I was the only man in the world. We dated for 3 years before I proposed. It wasn't a fancy proposal. I didn't have much money saved, but I had love, sincerity, and devotion. She said yes through tears and laughter, and in that moment, I felt like the luckiest man alive. But looking back, I realized her tears weren't for joy. They were for the performance. As the wedding planning began, I noticed cracks in the perfect image. Suddenly, everything had a price tag. Venue, dress, catering, rings. Nothing seemed enough for her. When I suggested smaller, more affordable options, she would frown and say, "This is supposed to be the most important day of our lives. Don't you want it to be perfect?" I worked long hours, picked up side jobs, and drained my savings trying to keep up with her vision. But one night, the truth came out, and it changed everything. We were sitting at her apartment surrounded by bridal magazines and budget spreadsheets. I was exhausted staring at numbers that didn't add up. "Julia," I said gently, "I don't think I can afford this kind of wedding. Maybe we should scale back." Her response was immediate, sharp, and cold. "Love doesn't pay the bills," she said flatly. "I need to be practical." The words hung in the air like poison. I blinked. "What do you mean by that?" She sighed, rolling her eyes. "I mean, I can't marry someone who can't provide for me. I've been thinking, maybe this isn't going to work. You're sweet, but sweet doesn't build a future. I need security, stability, money. Love is nice, but it's not enough." Her words cut deeper than any betrayal I could imagine. She wasn't marrying me because she loved me. She was marrying the idea of comfort, of financial gain, of status. I sat there in silence, letting her ramble about being realistic, about how romance fades but money lasts. My heart broke with every word, but my mind grew sharper. In that moment, I realized who she really was, and I knew what I had to do. I didn't confront her. Not then. Instead, I played along. I smiled, nodded, and pretended to agree. But inside, I was done. The next few weeks were an act. Julia continued planning the wedding, oblivious to the fact that I was quietly pulling away. I stopped pouring money into her dream. Instead, I started documenting. Receipts, conversations, everything she said about needing money over love, I kept records. Not because I needed revenge, but because I wanted clarity. Then came the breaking point. I discovered she had been practical in more ways than one. A friend of mine spotted her at a restaurant with a man in a suit, holding hands across the table, laughing intimately. When I confronted my friend, he told me the truth. Julia had been seeing this man for months. He was older, wealthy, and apparently very generous, so that was it. While I worked extra shifts to pay for her dream wedding, she was already trying out her practical alternative. I didn't explode. I didn't yell. I waited. 2 weeks before the wedding, with all the invitations sent and deposits made, I asked her to meet me at her favorite cafe. She showed up in a designer dress I hadn't paid for, smiling like nothing was wrong. "Everything's coming together," she said brightly. "This is going to be the perfect wedding," I nodded. "You're right. It is going to be perfect. Just not in the way you think," she frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" I slid an envelope across the table. "This is my practicality." She opened it, confused. Inside were copies of screenshots, her messages to her wealthy boyfriend, photos of their dates, her comments about me being sweet but broke. At the bottom was a letter. "I won't marry someone who treats love like a transaction. The wedding is off. Consider this me being practical." Her face drained of color. Where did you... This isn't what it looks like." I stood up calmly. "It's exactly what it looks like. You wanted money. You wanted security. Well, I can't give you that, but I can give you the freedom to chase it. Good luck!" I walked out, leaving her trembling at the table. The fallout was swift. Her family, who had adored me, were furious with her. Our mutual friends learned the truth when I quietly shared why the wedding was canceled. The wealthy man she had pinned her hopes on. He dropped her the moment he realized she was exposed. Julia was left with nothing but humiliation. As for me, it hurt deeply. Losing the future I thought I had, realizing the woman I loved never really loved me, was devastating. But it was also liberating. I didn't waste years tied to someone who saw me as a paycheck. I walked away with dignity, self-respect, and clarity, and in the months that followed, I rebuilt. Slowly, but honestly. Julia once told me, "Love doesn't pay the bills." She was right. Love doesn't pay the bills, but greed doesn't build a marriage. And in the end, her practicality exposed the truth. She never loved me at all. Now I know, real love isn't about money or weddings or status. It's about commitment, trust, and respect. And when I find that kind of love, it will be worth more than all the money in the world.